Alright guys, got a little update for y'all. Well, first let's check out my fuel rail. That's laser etched, but anyway, what did I do recently? So I just finished putting in both CV axles. I had a little snafu. The CV axle that I ordered from Rock Auto, wholesale discount. It came in a CarQuest box, but it was the wrong axle in the box. It turns out that axle was for a Nissan Murano. It has a huge stub shaft, and I thought maybe I had the wrong hubs on my car, but no, they're correct. It just turned out I had the wrong CV axle. So I picked up a used OEM one from Joseph Cruz, the K Parts dealer here in Houston. Actually, he ships everywhere. And I have the axles on. The suspension is back together. I do need to torque the lower control arm bushings. This one, that one should be okay. It's already tight. So I'm going to torque this one now that it's on the ground with the suspension loaded up. And then also the upper control arm on the upper hinge. As you can see, I have a traction bar on it. That gives me clearance for the radiator, for the lower hose, but also it'll help with the power, putting the power down, no wheel hop, etc. And check it out, I have a new radiator in here. This is the third time's a charm. The first radiator I used was an RSX, which should have worked, but it didn't because the dimensions on it were actually too wide, so I don't even think it would have worked in an RSX. But anyway, the second one I tried was for an actual Accord for this car. That one didn't fit. And let's see, you can see here, this one, I have plenty of clearance now for the lower hose. You can see it right there, just peeking behind that fan. With the stock subframe, I was at the mercy of a right outlet radiator, which RSX and Accord were the same and they line up perfectly down there. But I got this traction bar so that I would have more options. So no matter where that lower hose came out of the radiator, there would be room on this lower subframe. So in case I needed to use an EP3 radiator or an EG or whatever. But as it turns out, this Accord one, this Spa one from eBay, it's a dual core, all aluminum radiator, under $200, and it came with the aluminum shroud and two 12-inch fans. So the stock radiator, I could have probably reused the radiator because as far as stock radiators go, this is actually a pretty beefy core. It's over an inch wide on the core. But look how big these fans are. They would not clear at all. And you can see here, I already have minimal clearance between the alternator and the fan. Same thing with the lower hose or the thermostat exit to the fan. So there are slimmer fans I could get, worst case scenario, but these fit just fine. So I'm happy with them. I'm not entirely happy with the routing of this upper hose. You can see it gets really close. It's actually touching the intake manifold, but just barely. And it has this ugly kink here, although I think it'll seal just fine. And it'll flow just fine. Same thing with this one. I think it could be a lot worse. So that's fine. But anyway, so both axles are in. There's a new axle on this side. Used OEM on that one, but it's in great shape. So that's about it. Oh, I got the grill back on, and a new hood latch from the junkyard. It even has this cute little black plastic cover. So what's next? I still got to mess with the shift cables. The stock ones for the car are still in here. The clutch line is in. So there's a new clutch master, new hose, and a TSX radiator, or not radiator, sorry, a reservoir. And a finishing lines custom clutch line to a Honda Element slave cylinder. The one I originally wanted to use was from an Accord, also from a junkyard, like a 03 to 07. But what was wrong with that one? Oh, the threads seem to have been stripped on the fitting there. But I probably could have chased them with a tap, but you know what? It's even new, it's like a $30 part. I had this one from the Element where I pulled the all-wheel drive 5-speed transmission out of. So that one works good. Oh, fuel lines. They're not done, but everything is still loose because obviously I still need to port this intake manifold for the new throttle body, which is 75 millimeters. I think I'm gonna have to remove this this wall here and open it up to the idle air control passage, which is fine. The stock brake booster hose went here with a big nipple. That had to go because of hood clearance. So that's plugged. I need to figure out where I'm gonna run my brake booster hose to. I could, now that I have the radiator in here, I could put it like right here. It won't be the prettiest thing, but it'll be totally functional. If I put it on the bottom, it's a little bit of a cleaner look, but oil that gets into the intake manifold from the PCV. Initially, I don't plan to run a catch can, so there is going to be a little bit of residual oil in the intake manifold. I don't want it to go into the brake booster. I think it might be years and tens of thousands of miles for it to do any damage, but I can prevent that by just doing a slightly uglier but more efficient, more practical. I'll just put a quarter NPT here to 6 AN, and I already have my stock brake booster hose here converted to a barb to 6 AN, so then I can run a hose somewhere down here and just terminate over here in the intake manifold. So this intake manifold still has to come off. That's why there's no injectors yet. These are just mocked up, they're just hand tight. But my supply, it is just a converted stock fuel filter. It's just a banjo to 6 AN conversion fitting to 6 AN hose, and then 6 AN hose to the regulator. So I'm regulated, and then my return comes at the bottom here, and it's going to go to the return line right there. So I may cut it here and bend it out and then feed it that way, or I could just go all the way back up to there. Plenty of room. That line will probably have to be remade whenever I go turbo, but that's not anytime soon. So I'm just going to use some standard hose, some standard flex hose with a barb fitting, because that is a barb fitting that I put on the bottom of the regulator for the return. There's my gauge. This is the nice little bracket that I made just to mount the regulator there, because initially I wanted the regulator here, but it wasn't going to clear the hood, and neither was the fuel gauge, the fuel pressure gauge, which I was going to put here also. So now that's plugged. Fuel pressure gauge is on the regulator. I like it. It's pretty clean. It's going to get all cluttered up once I put the engine harness on. The coil wiring is going to have to come out right here. So it'll still come out nice and clean. I don't think it's going to hit that, so I think it'll be fine. So it'll kind of cover up all this, which is not ideal, but what can you do? Okay, so that's the update. Let's see how the stance is. I can't get too far back. It's not too bad. I think the front is going to sit higher than the rear, unfortunately. I've actually considered putting some like 1/4 inch spacers under the strut plate, the strut mount on the rear. Just right here. So basically underneath the body, just a plate that will sit on top here, just a lift spacer, maybe just a 1/4 inch plate. That's why this stuff is in here. I was going to repurpose these I think this is actually 3/16, but something like that will work. I don't know if I showed you guys the interior. So I got some Acura CL first gen floor mats, and they fit excellent. It's a dark gray with a pattern, but they fit perfect in all 4 seats. Well, I mean, there's no back seats, but I do have the floor mats in there. And shifter I'm going to use, which is out of a 0307 Accord, it fits under the stock console, or inside the stock center console. So I'm going to reuse the shift boot, and I think it'll look pretty good in here. For where the stereo was, I'm just going to put a carbon fiber plate there, fit it, and then my stereo in this car will just be like a Bluetooth speaker, probably that one right there. So pretty good progress. Replace that. I got a whole bunch of stuff from the junkyard car. Man, it was nice. It was nicer than mine, and it's at the junkyard. It only had 108,000 miles, so like all the rubbers were in excellent shape. So all of these, they came from the junkyard car. Same with the rubber mounts, the feet for the radiator. What else did I take? I took a lot of interior trim. This core support, technically it's a core support. This is an OEM one. My car came with a reproduction, and it was black. This paint is from the junkyard. This is the warranty mark that's going to stay on there. But man, it was so, the car I took this stuff off of was so original that it had all the plastic clips still for these screws. Like initially, before I had this zip tied on. And then even the hood latch is nice and free. Free isn't like the action is free. The movement is good. So the cool thing about that car at the junkyard, man, whoever took the headlights, they did it the proper way, and they pulled off the entire bumper to get to the lower bolts. And they didn't break a single thing on that car. They took it off the proper way. They set the bumper aside, and I was thinking, man, I should get that bumper, but it's 2 years older, so it's a whole different front end. I think the bumper bar is reusable, but the foam is different because it's a different shape bump. Anyway, so I just left it. I do like the look of this all black bumper. That's part of the appeal, in my opinion. Well, for me at least. But man, that car, it was clean. I thought about getting the hood because this hood is also reproduction. But I already put in, I mean, it wasn't that much work, but I already cut all this stuff, so I didn't want to have to do it again. But man, I was considering it because that hood was on sale for 30% off. It would have been like $55 out the door. But anyway. All right, well, she is on the ground. There's not much more weight that's going to go in the front, so that I'm pretty sure that is the final ride height, which is a shame because that almost looks higher than stock. So I was going to relocate the battery to the back, but maybe I'll put it in the front anyway, or right over there, just so there's more weight in the front. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Should I just lift the rear? Or should I leave it alone? Or should I put more weight in the front? So it still needs, okay, a gallon of oil. What is that? 7 pounds. Maybe a gallon of coolant, 8 pounds. A battery is 40 pounds. So that's 8 and 7, 15, 40, 55 pounds. What else is going to go in here? The intake, okay, maybe 3 pounds. So it's 58 pounds. Injectors, shift cables, wiring. Maybe only another 60, 70 pounds are going to go in the car. So, oh well, that's how she's going to sit. Yeah, I think I'm going to look into making some spacers. Oh, actually. So, I have the stock struts, I think, from the rear. Oh man, they're at the bottom now. I think that's them. No, those are fronts. So I have a stock rear is I could use it as a template to make a lift spacer for the rear. Let's see, there's a flywheel in here. It wasn't good, Chad. I mean, it'll still clean up if you want it. Oops. There's a clutch also. Pressure plate right there. Just clean it up. That's a Civic Si 8th gen. Okay, anyway, that's all for the day. It is 5:30. And I'm done. Actually, I gotta go to a dinner at 7, so I gotta be done. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I will hopefully have another update for you soon because I plan to work on it again tomorrow. See you later, guys.